Hello, my lovelies. I just wanted to give you a short update, life update. Okay, so I'm on my way right now to the notary's office. Here's how it works in Poland. Well, before I get there, in case you are new to my channel, my name is Freya. I am turning 50 next week, and we're going to do another attempt at embryo adoption in Poland. We conceived twins about they were born in 2022. And we conceived them through embryo adoption in the Czech Republic. Now, the Czech Republic was not an option anymore to do this again because they have an upper age limit of 48. So as soon as I had my 49th birthday last year, I couldn't do it anymore. Although they had an embryo for me that was a half sibling to the twins genetically, they had the same male donor. But it didn't work out because my cycle has been irregular. I'm approaching menopause, I think. And so it's been, it's been kind of like, I just needed more time. I feel like my body needed more time to recover from this twin pregnancy. And it's not just the pregnancy, but, I nursed and then I pumped until they were 1 year old. It's getting a little bright here. And I feel like all of that took a while for my body to recover, and also my pelvic floor, my muscles around my belly. I don't have stretch marks, but I just didn't feel like I needed a rush last year. Once that date had passed, that I had my 49th birthday, it was kind of pointless to rush it. So I thought maybe I'll just wait. And so, we're just about to get started with medications. So I'm on my way to the notary's office because just like in the Czech Republic and Poland, they don't do IVF treatments for single women. So I am kind of single, but then I'm not. I'm actually, we don't live together. My oldest daughter's biological dad, we have known each other for it's close to 15 years now, 14, 15 years. And so although we know we are never going to be able to live together, we kind of have this as a project. So he wants the children, I want the children. And I think it's better this way. They have never gone through trauma. Even my oldest daughter, they never experienced first my parents are together and then they're not. It's always been the way it is now. I'm always there. I'm the sole provider. I take care of everything and I pay for everything, may I say, which means I also get to make the decisions. But we're not on bad terms. We're on good terms, meaning, he'll come by sometimes and he will pick up my oldest daughter. The twins are still a little bit little. I mean, they're they don't want to do without me. It would be a little crazy for him because his home also, he lives with his mother. It's a whole other story. Not in the same apartment, but in the same house, and they have kind of two apartments separate from each other in the house. But anyway, we are going to both sign. What they want really is for us to sign papers so that he signs that, we sign that we are going to be the parents of this child if it all works out, the embryo transfer. And they wanted me, which was really interesting, because I asked them, how are we going to sign these papers to prove, to say, we are signing that we are going to be the parents of the child. And they said, well, you have to go to your what is it called? Kind of like the Justice of the Peace or whatever, to that office, the registration office, and sign the papers for the baby. And I'm you can't do that in Germany. In Germany, you can sign papers for parenthood for a baby starting when you are 35 weeks pregnant. I think in Poland, it might be that even before, like if you're adopting embryos, that you can do that. That's not how it works in Germany. You can't, like, if I show up there and like, we would like to, like, you know, sign the proof of parenthood for, like, where's the child, right? Like, I'm not pregnant, nothing. I got interrupted. Someone called me. Andreas called me and said he was already there. So we're done. I'm just still in the parking place here, trying to get out. Make sure I'm not hitting anything. It's very small here. In Germany, some of those parking things are so tiny. Oh, and it is getting a little bright. So we're all done. We're all set. We're all set. And now we need to just pick up the papers from my OBGYNs, because they did all these tests and the results are in, but I have to go and pick up the papers, but they're in a different town. So as I was saying, in Poland, they have this law that you have to, you know, sign the papers, which we now did. Can we do this? Yep, we can. And so we're set up, and I'm still debating, like, I'm gonna have to go pick up all the stuff, like the test results from my OBGYN's office anyway. So what I'm gonna do ahead of time is I'm going to send an email. That's how you can contact them the best. I hope this is okay because it's kind of rubbing against a little bit. Hope this is working. So I'm gonna ask them to also write a prescription for all the medications that the doctor in Poland told me, so that I'm gonna have everything. I still haven't fully decided. I'm still waiting. I did contact Mira, haven't heard back from them, so I'm assuming they said it could take up to a week, and if they don't contact you up after about a week or so, then it's a negative. So they're not gonna work with you. I was hoping maybe they're gonna send me one, because I'm thinking maybe I will ovulate, but I guess if not, I actually listened to a very interesting discussion. I'm going to see if I can find the link and post it here in the description, if I can find it again. It was a discussion between fellows, you know, like as in a clinic and a hospital, fellows, between pro and con. There was one camp, there were 3 ladies who were pro natural cycle or a modified natural cycle, and then there were 3 ladies that were pro programmed or medicated cycle. It was very interesting because they were like quoting a bunch of studies, and then the other ones, like, they were like, yeah, but you have to put that in perspective. This is how the study was designed, and it's not high quality. So it was very interesting. It seems like there is a new, I don't know what it's called, but there is a new, maybe a platform, or I don't know how you want to call it, but basically what needs to happen is we need to know more about what happens, because a lot of women these days are having frozen embryo transfers. So we need to know more about this, like all the mechanisms and all the pros and cons of like this or that protocol. Because everyone's on such different protocols, like every woman will be on such a different protocol, depending on the clinic, what their preference is, what their experience is, and also depending on her history. I feel like, especially here in Europe, when you go to those large clinics where there's a lot of fertility tourism, I feel like, because you're not there personally, you do everything before the transfer, unless you're doing IVF, then you're going there for the egg retrieval. But before you do the embryo transfer, basically they don't really know you if you're doing like an embryo adoption, which also means they don't really know a lot about your history. They do have like a, you know, like an online phone call, which I had 2 of those, which they made me pay for both of them. It wasn't a lot. It was like $80 or so, or maybe $90, not a lot. But I had to pay each time for basically 15 minutes of talking to the doctor and telling him, yeah, I don't have cycles. That's what I'm going to do. But it's okay. He knows me now, and he has like my history a little bit. But I feel like no matter what, you always need to advocate for yourself and do your due diligence and do some research. So in this case, of course, this doctor said that their standard protocol is, even for a programmed medicated cycle, not to do progesterone and oil shots, but to do high dosage vaginal progesterone, which I do believe there are studies that totally do prove that the outcome is better, or there's a higher chance of implantation and, you know, not just a chemical, but an actual clinical pregnancy if you use progesterone and oil. Now, of course, the shots suck. Giving yourself a shot or two every single day, that's a lot. But then on the other hand, it doesn't matter. Like, that's a short amount of time compared to a lifetime you might have with that child if everything works out. So you're going to do everything to help that embryo grow and implant and, you know, become a human being, a grown human being. But yeah, there's a lot of back and forth. I'm still thinking, because, you know, I am older and I don't feel like I'm on my at my very best shape. I am still gonna get in the best shape of my life eventually after I've had all my kids. I'm pretty good, but I don't have the time and bandwidth right now to do the kind of workouts I would really actually love to do. I would be out there for hours a day. I would like go on a bike ride and a run, and then I would work out with weights and do yoga. Like, I love this, but I can't. When the twins are around, basically I can't even do simple exercises. After 30 seconds, they think it's so hilarious and interesting. Like, if I do anything that's on the floor, they're all climbing on top of me, and if I do something that's standing up, then they want me to pick them up, and like, I don't know, and they think it's funny. And they're gonna scream and yell and scream and cry if I don't pick them up and pay attention to them. They want attention, big time. But I'm relieved now that we have this paperwork squared away. I'm gonna scan it in and send it over there and ask them if they need it by mail also. I mean, I can bring the original when I get there if they need me to send it ahead of time. I don't know. Oh, it rained here. Ooh, suddenly it's all wet. Ooh. This weather has been back and forth so much, and I've had a sore throat for a couple days. And it's not a full-fledged cold. Like, this morning, my voice was like really kind of low. My voice isn't too affected. I can still sing, and even sing opera. I demonstrated to my students this morning. And I have like the slightest sniffles, but very slight. So this happened a while ago, like a few months ago, when I had the last time I had a cold. It was like not even a cold. It was like just barely there, and then it was gone already. Maybe I have a good immune system. I also watched some really interesting videos. It was German research, like a German doctor talking to someone being interviewed, and he has a lot of really interesting things. But he talked about vitamin D, because a lot of times there's sometimes even talk about vitamin D in high dosages being toxic, and like there are a bunch of studies that actually prove that's absolutely not true. Also, you know, vitamin D, D3 is like so important for a lot of things. So I think my vitamin D levels are good, but the levels that are now accepted as this is the threshold of what is low and what is not low, it's almost like they're lowering it. But here in Germany, they keep lowering it. It used to be 30, now they're going to like 20, whatever, or 25, whatever the units are, I don't know. So not sure about that. So a lot of research that I've read and listened to, it states that levels of 40 or 50 or 60 are much better. And that helps you with even like preventing cancer, because everyone has cancer cells in their body at any given time. You have cancer cells. These are just mutated cells, but there is a reason why your body reacts this way. It's to get rid of them. It's to get rid of the toxic, the waste. It becomes a problem when they get too much. But your body actually has a mechanism to destroy and to get rid of them. It's just when your immune system is compromised, when it's too much toxic, too many toxic substances inside, when it all adds up, and you come to this threshold where your body just cannot handle it. It's too much to deal with. That's when you really actually get cancer to where it spreads everywhere. And vitamin D seems, even when someone has, even for cancer patients, very beneficial. And then also I watched another one about vitamin B12, and they said like B12, especially in today's world, like where our brains are so high input, high demands. We really need so much more B12 than ever before in history, because the demands on what we have to deliver are so much higher than ever in history. Like the intellectual thinking power we need to be doing every single day, it's very high demands. In the past, it was different tasks. So like 1,000 years ago, it was more like survival, deciding fight or flight, making food, staying safe. But now it's a very complex world, very technological, a lot of decisions every single day. It's very complex. So B12, very important. And then omega-3, the problem is nowadays there's this imbalance between omega-3 and omega-6. So too much omega-6, not enough omega-3. I take omega-3 capsules every day. I also take vitamin D3. I also take vitamin B12 again. It's this really funny, it's these drops. It's just like, it's liquid, just like the vitamin D3, except it's very red, and I think it tastes a little sweet. I don't know why they did it that way. Maybe they put it in like beet juice or something. I'm not sure. Maybe in order to not confuse it, because the bottle looks exactly the same like the D3. Maybe in order to not confuse it so that no one's like accidentally taking like so much of one and not the other. But that's pretty much the update for today. I am going to decide in the next few days whether I'm going to actually go ahead and start the birth control pill. I really, really hesitate. Why? Because my hormones are so balanced right now. I feel good. I think I talked about the fact that a few months ago I had like these hot flashes and I started having symptoms of menopause. I started taking my maca, Vitex, and ashwagandha, and I just feel so good. I'm so balanced. I sleep amazingly, and the twins sleep pretty well now most of the time, unless someone's sick. And I hope this hasn't been rubbing too much to where you can't hear me. But yeah, it's been great, and I just hate to. I know, like I tell myself, like being pregnant, that'll mess with my hormones big time. And of course, being pregnant is this huge, gigantic thing, but it's natural hormones, and I feel like, oops, I need to take this because I clipped it on the. I felt like I didn't want to. Let's see. Maybe I'll just take this. So, I don't know. I'm very hesitant to be taking birth control pills. Very hesitant. Because I haven't taken them for years. And when I did, when did I take them last? I think I stopped when I was 35. So I haven't been taking them for 15 years. And before that, I it messed up. I know it would only be one cycle. And I suppose that's something my body could deal with. But, if there's any way around it, I do want that baby. But I would so much like a natural cycle. But if my body isn't going to ovulate, then that's out of the question. I just feel like I want to give it a couple more weeks or so. And what are a couple weeks in comparison to the rest of my life? And maybe the next 2 years. What if I develop like preeclampsia and hypertension, and like there are more complications with the programmed cycle when it comes to obstetric outcomes, and like placental abruptions and hemorrhages, postpartum hemorrhages, which I never had that. And I would love to have another home birth if everything goes, if everything goes well. And I would I'm trying to think through all these things. Like, I would hate to have a C-section. If that's what it took, it's okay. But like, I've come so far and everything has gone so perfectly up to this point. I don't know. Think positive, right? Think positive. I just want to think positive. I did want to talk about one more thing, but this is getting too long. I'm going to talk about this next time. I watched a video today and it was just so interesting. All right. Thanks for watching today, and I will update you whenever something is happening. Bye-bye.